This video will cover how to add a threshold in the Threshold module of the Infraon Infinity Suite. To get started, navigate to the top right corner of the page and click on Add Threshold. Technicians will first need to enter the name of the threshold. Following that, by clicking on the toggle button, we'll activate the threshold for all assets. Remember, a threshold will only be active and applicable to assets when its status is set to On. The next step involves selecting a category for the threshold. The available categories, such as Performance, Basic, Measure, and Informational, denote different levels or types of thresholds used to monitor and manage IT services and infrastructure. Performance thresholds are vital for focusing on key performance indicators like response times, throughput, and resource utilization, indicating when performance is below the desired levels. Basic thresholds typically cover general health metrics or availability targets for IT components, signaling when basic functionality is at risk. Major thresholds often signal critical issues that could indicate severe service degradation or outages demanding immediate response. On the other hand, information thresholds provide insights into standard operations or non-critical events, serving more as informative indicators rather than prompts for immediate action. Technicians can select the most appropriate category depending on their specific needs. Once the category is chosen, the next element is the statistic. This includes quantitative data and metrics that are collected and analyzed to monitor the performance and health of IT services and infrastructure. Such statistics could encompass measures like response times, error rates, throughput, and resource use, all of which offer insights into the system's behavior and aid in proactive IET environment management. Moving forward, the technicians must set the specific threshold parameters, beginning with severity. The severity level can be selected based on whether it's critical, major, or minor. Technicians are required to add a set point for the threshold. Set points represent predetermined thresholds or levels used to trigger alerts or actions when performance metrics exceed or fall below specified values. Once the set point for the threshold is established, the next step involves configuring the hold time and the breach count. It's important to remember that both hold time and breach count are optional parameters. The hold time specifies the duration a threshold breach remains active before it's escalated or resolved. This time frame is crucial as it provides IT teams a window to acknowledge and address the threshold violation. Breach count, meanwhile, is a code or identifier that denotes the specific reason or cause for a breach. This designation assists IT teams in categorizing and prioritizing threshold breaches, streamlining the incident management and resolution process. Following the addition of the breach count, technicians can proceed to add the alarm message. The next step involves setting the reset point. This represents the values or conditions at which thresholds return to their normal state after being breached. Starting with the threshold value for the reset count, then the optional hold time, and finally, the clear message. This message will be displayed once the set point is successfully reached for the utilization. Additional parameters, such as event code and APY code, can be added, although they are not mandatory. The event code typically represents a predefined code assigned to specific types of events or conditions that trigger threshold breaches. This helps IT teams quickly identify the nature of the issue. The APY event code, in particular, is used for events initiated through interactions with external systems or applications via APIs. Both these codes are valuable tools that aid in classifying and managing threshold breaches efficiently within the Infraon Infinity framework. After filling in all the necessary details, click Next to proceed. On the Applicable Devices page, technicians can now assign the thresholds to the relevant assets. They have the option to select all assets or choose specific IT assets. The filter can be added based on various conditions such as asset ID, host name, IP address, asset tags, asset category, manufacturer, model, device type, OS name, state, district, city, country, region, location name, and resource type. Depending on the category, a condition can be set by simultaneously adding a value. To delete a particular filter, simply click on the Delete icon. Once the appropriate selections are made, submit to add the threshold. After completion, the threshold will be added to the list. When the threshold is added, an event will be created whenever the set points and values are breached for the specific node devices. If the threshold is reached, an event will be generated and will be displayed on the Events page. Here, on the Events page, one can see that the event has been created based on the set threshold. Technicians may select the Analyze option to examine the event based on the performance threshold. This concludes the process of creating thresholds in the Threshold module of the Infraon Infinity Suite.